All right, this is just going to be a real quick and dirty, simple video for actually not really the best way to clean your headlights, but one of the quickest ways. This headlight over here, nice and shiny and clean, was actually a little bit hazier and yellow and more oxidized than this one over here. There's multiple different ways that you can actually clean these headlights. One way that I'm not going to be doing, but my preferred way, is to take some rubbing compound and a wool buffing wheel and just buff and polish the headlights. The longevity with that usually can range anywhere from 6 months to 2 years before they kind of start to oxidize again and get a little bit yellow, and you just got to keep buffing them. Basically, this is just the plastic reacting with the UV rays from the sun. And again, it's just like any outdoor plastic, patio, furniture, lawn equipment, whatever, stuff fades in color. And anyways, some headlights don't have this issue because they're actually coated in a automotive clear coat similar to paint on cars, which is the other way, which is kind of the correct or the most correct way to do it. To repair it would be to take the headlight out of the vehicle, completely wet sand it with I start usually with 600 grit sandpaper, and then I'll work up to 800 and then 1,000, and then sometimes I'll hit it with 1,200. And this is just wet dry sandpaper, and I usually wet sand so then it doesn't clog anything up, just with some soapy water. And then once that's all, it'll look completely hazed over like hell, and it's supposed to look like that. It's just supposed to be one opaque white. And then you take some of this, this is the stuff I have the best luck with. I think it's about $20 a can. You want to make sure you get the 2K stuff at minimum, because it is actually a two-part. It's not just in a can, good to go. There's a little red top up here you take off. You put on that bottom plunger, you put it on the floor and push it, and you shake it and activate it. And then that's actually the hardener, which cures the clear coat. And it says right there the pot life is 48 hours. They're not kidding. If you do it right, from where my thumb is down is just solid clear coat, because I, again, didn't have enough uses to use this whole can. But you figure a couple minutes of your work or your time or whatever, maybe an hour, and then a $20 can will probably do 4 or 5, maybe even 6 headlights, depending on how many coats you put on it, versus, $150 for most used headlights. Anyways, the way I'm going to be doing here today, again, you have to follow this step by step exactly, because I did this wrong, and I'll kind of explain that quickly. This is Goof Off, and it needs to be the Pro Strength Remover. It's just an aerosol can. The regular Goof Off in the spray bottle, which I've got right here, or Goo Gone, sorry. I guess it's a different brand. Totally different, not the same thing. The Goof Off stuff in the aerosol can is actually pretty aggressive. Like it says, it removes asphalt and tar, adhesive and glue. Another really good thing for like this paint marker stuff up here. I used brake clean over here, and I always forget brake clean melts some plastic, so it kind of faded that. But this stuff does clean it without melting a lot of plastics. And I say sometimes, because the way I'm going to show you how to do this, you need to spray onto the towel. Do not, absolutely positively do not spray onto the headlights. If you do that, it gets applied too thick, and it actually burns little spots into the headlight. So, like I say, just one more look here. If you can really see just how hazy and nasty this is. I haven't cleaned this with soapy water or anything. It's just oxidized and hazed. So, it's just a regular, basic blue Scotch shop towel. I'm just going to shake this up a little bit. Spray a little bit on there, and kind of wave off some of the excess, and then literally just wipe around. And again, you don't want to hang out in one spot for too long, I should say. And just really make sure you get every single inch of the headlight. And usually it'll kind of start to feel like it's dragging, and you can see all the shit that's coming off there. I think that is actually part of maybe like the plastic layer, just some of the crap from off the road. And again, just tiny little bit. on the second pass, kind of wave it off. And again, just go over it. Make sure you wipe every single inch, every nook and cranny and crack. All right, and then I'm just going to take a clean towel here and just kind of wipe it down. All right, and you can already see that's 100 times better than what it was. Now, again, this isn't going to get it 100% perfect. You're still going to have a lot of these kind of, I don't know if I call them burn spots. I believe that's tree sap right there. But some of these are actual scratches, which you would get out if you wet sanded and clear coated it. And then again, that would be a protective layer. Again, as far as longevity on this, I did one about 2 or 3 months ago, and I haven't heard any complaints about it. So I'm assuming it's good. Like I say, same thing on this one. Overall looks pretty good, and I could probably hit this. I only hit this with 1 spray. I didn't do 2. And you don't want to get carried away with this because, again, it can get out of hand pretty quickly if you're not careful. You just got to make sure, again, do not spray onto the headlight. Spray onto a towel. Wave off any excess. Don't go overkill. It's better to go too little than too much. And then just, again, wipe it all off. Now, if you do put too much on, or you somehow misinterpret the steps and you spray onto the headlight and you melt it, you are not going to be able to buff that out. You are not going to be able to spray some more onto your rag and kind of wipe over and wipe over. The only way to fix it at that point is, again, take the headlight out, take some wet, dry sandpaper, and spray it down with some water and sand, and then move up to the next step. Again, I do 6, 8, 1000, and then 1200, and then wipe it all down with some kind of wax and grease remover. Again, don't use brake cleaner, don't use carb cleaner, don't use any super aggressive. The best thing to use is just some basic wax and grease remover, or hell, even what I usually do for the super non-aggressive stuff is just some Dawn dish soap and water. I usually use this for finding holes in leaky tires, but that's the best thing, just to remove all the clear coat powder basically and dust off the headlight. And then again, just use a good quality clear coat. This is the one I've had the best luck with. One other quick thing before I end this video. I did try this stuff here because it basically says it's gloss clear for touching up automotive clear coat. Fucking junk. It lays good, it clears good, it dries clear. And I say it dries clear because if anyone has ever done any sort of automotive clear coat, this stuff is pretty comparable. The problem is, I'm guessing it's the chemical makeup of that. It ends up cracking when it cures and dries. And I'll see if I've got my headlights still sitting over here. I did a set the other day. All right, so this is the set I did with that Rust-Oleum lacquer clear coat. I did not do it with the Spray Max 2K Clear Glamour. It looks good from afar, but once you actually get up close, you can see all these little spider web cracks. And that's not user error. That was a chemical reaction with the plastic and the clear coat itself. And just to prove that wasn't user error, I actually painted the back end of this car and did the clear coat up here. I mean, you can see it's pretty good. This was a black trunk lid, same thing, black rear bumper cover, and painted that up. So I've got automotive body experience. I know how to paint stuff. That Rust-Oleum lacquer stuff just not work quite as well. So, like I say, that's the correct way to do it. These headlights, I'm just throwing them away because they're not worth. I frickin' sanded I thought it was user error on that clear Rust-Oleum lacquer clear coat. This is the 4th time. I've probably got 12 hours into these pair of headlights, and the other one again is already in the garbage pile, of trying to sand, and reuse that clear coat just because I didn't have any more of the Spray Max stuff. And so again, I say this is all about saving money and cost and whatever. This stuff, $20 a can. No one really stocks it locally. These headlights, I think I get, when I sell them on eBay, like $125 a piece. So basically, you figure, and again, this isn't even a video on doing it this way, which is a more expensive way. I think this can of stuff is like maybe $10 to $15, and that's it. You mean, a freaking towel's free, basically, and that stuff's negligible. You can probably do 100 headlights with this thing. So again, basically free. But anyways, that's the quickest way to do it. It's the cheapest way to do it, and it's the fastest way to do it. But kind of time will tell how long it actually holds up long.